I should probably close the store. Oh, that's it for that. I'm not gonna do it. Sorry. Welcome to the Inner Hoe Uprising, the podcast about sex, love, and dating from the perspective of me, Sam, one black, non-monogamous, pansexual feminist hoe who lives in New York City and whose pronouns are she and her.
And me, Rodeka, one fat, black, existentialist, polyamorous femme whose life is a series of coincidences that somehow landed her here. And my pronouns are she, they.
Oh, so are mine. Sorry.
It's okay. I figured you were just reserving the rights to choose when you want it,
Nah, I definitely want them to be
nah.
I'm gonna change that.
Respect the day, y'all.
Respect the, what is that again? Respect the fruit. Respect it. Remember that?
No.
All right.
And I'm sorry.
That's okay. All right. And you heard the intro just now, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's like 10 o'clock on Monday for people. And this is like the first time I'm working in several days. So every episode of the Inner Hoe Uprising works like this. Myself and my lovely rotating co-hosts talk about sex, love, and dating as it pertains to current events in the world, our lives and yours. And occasionally we hit you with interviews with insightful folks or do deep dive episodes on a topic of our choice. This episode, it's Pride Month, and we got to talk about some gay ass motherfucking animals. Then we're also getting into our Bae of the Week, a tennis baddie not named Naomi or Serena, who recently aired out the full clip. You'll learn about why balls, if you have them, are similar to your brain. Plus, an IHU breakup has occurred. Breakup alert, breakup alert. Find out who and what happened.
And if you would like to follow along with the conversation had in this podcast on social media, you could do so by using the hashtag InnerHoeUprising so we can see it, and the hashtag PodIn so other people can see it. And if you would like to follow us on social media, you could do so at InnerHoeUprising without the G on Twitter, InnerHoeUprising on Instagram and Facebook, and you could join our Facebook group by searching InnerHoeUprising, CUMMUNITY, which is community, and you can head over to InnerHoeUprising.com to pay a hoe.
UNITY, you gotta let them know. Sorry. If you're freaking with the vision, if you're on YouTube and you're freaking with the vision and down with the vibes, do us a favor and hit subscribe. If you're supportive of the hoes and want to see our success spike, do us a favor and click like. If you want to keep the conversation going during your time spent, do us a favor and comment with your thoughts and opinions. And please, please, please click that like bell. Otherwise, you are going to hell. All of this interaction helps with the YouTube algorithm, y'all. And if you want more people to see your favorite hoes, you gotta interact up in here.
You got to.
You gotta interact. You gotta let them know. In the words of Queen Latifah. All right. Do you want to pay us to speak virtually at your school or conference about sex positivity, Black feminism, podcasting, or other kinds of topics we discuss on this here show? Or would you like us to host a consent, pleasure, or dating workshop for your organization? We would love to book us. You can send us a line to ihupodcast@gmail.com. Let us get into Hoe of the Week.
Grandma, yeah. Are you a hoe?
We got to put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, we do. That'd be great.
But like, I don't want him to sue us.
Yeah, be like, wait a minute. That's literally me. Like,
that's a very misogynistic pastor. And I think that he hates us just because he is misogynistic, you know.
So we probably should just do it anyway.
You just got to lawyer up and see what happens. All right. Hoe of the Week is where we shout out the homies who have supported Inner Hoe Uprising in the past week. Hoes of the Week get special nicknames, and the game, if they choose to participate, is to guess the meaning behind their nicknames. This week, we got two very dope folks on Instagram who we want to give Hoe of the Week shout outs to. We got Kink Health, who did this I don't know if you saw it. I'll send you the link. This very cute and nice and well curated feature of Inner Hoe Uprising on Instagram, which was greatly appreciated.
I'm looking at it now.
Isn't it so well designed?
Yeah,
it's cute. So we got Kink Health, and then we have Kink Conversation, which that fucked up my brain.
Yeah, I mean, it's rare that something like this happens in the same week or in the same time period, but yeah, it's pretty much kinking. kink.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, there's a Q involved, so that's important.
Kink conversation is with the Q. I'll
Yeah.
put both of these in the show notes. But Kink Conversation did a listening session of our episode. What is it? What the heck is NRE or something like that?
Yes. What's up with NRE or what the heck is NRE? Yeah. It was
like
episode.
I don't make the titles for this.
It's not like you do
podcast.
it. It's worse because we were the two people most. I was the one talking.
Yeah.
You're the one who named the episode. But you know what? Like we said, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. We are not functioning people. Yeah. I'm here drinking a fucking Arizona at 10 o'clock in the morning. Why?
You know what? You are drinking in Arizona, and in the back of my mind, something always like fired in my brain, like that's not right.
Yo, I've been judged before. It's like, nigga, damn, vitamins? Nah, Arizona at 10 a.m. That is how I start my day, and I'm sorry to my body.
Okay. That's okay. Yeah, but King Conversation did like a listening session of this episode as a part of like their polyamory non-monogamy series, and Rebecca went by accident.
Purely by accident. I must emphasize this.
You didn't know it was happening. You were just planning on attending.
A friend who had recommended and were like, yo, like come to this. I was like, all right, this week I'm free. I'll definitely do it. And then I saw that we had posted, just kind of like whenever someone posts us, we make sure to shout them out or just like, hey, if you want, you're listening. And it turns out that they were listening to the episode that I was on and doing on the same week that I was there. And like, I wrestled the whole time of whether or not I was going to say something. And they were so nice and so welcoming. And I was like, there's no way I'm saying anything because it's just weird. It seems weird. But then I thought what would be worse, either saying it and then we just move on, or like never saying it and just like participating in this conversation. And then someone comes in and goes,
you know, that Rebecca makes good points.
Yeah. Or like, you don't rip me apart. That's fine. But like,
no, I'm saying if you said that about
oh yeah, exactly. Like I could never toot my own horn because I'd be like the worst. And then like, I was scared that a person would just be like, wait, nigga,
isn't that you?
Isn't that you? Because the camera's on. So I was like, no, I'd rather say it than someone like be like, you didn't say nothing this whole time, and then it would have been bad. Yeah.
Well,
but it was all good things and all positive vibes, and I definitely appreciated being there.
Yeah, they did like a roundup of the conversation afterwards, a little recap for Instagram, which I really appreciated. So thank you very much, Kink Conversation. Then we got Mo Will, who named themselves by signing their donation off with Mo Will, but Mo Will paid a hoe and wrote, IHU, love your work, keep it up, ! From Mo Will, green-eyed corporate and cornbread, pronouns she and her, hoe from DC. Then we got Terrence S, whose nickname is Sex, and I think that Terrence will understand that. They became a patron on Patreon, and we got Mads, who also named themselves because that is the name they signed up with. I'm pretty sure that's a nickname, who became a patron on Patreon. Thank you very much, folks. If you'd like to be a hoe of the week and get a cool nickname, some things you can do are leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. You can feature us in an article you've written, in a podcast episode you have, on a listening session of podcasts that you do. You can shout us out on social media. These are all non-monetary ways that you can support the Inner Hoe Uprising podcast. We love monetary and non-monetary support and understand that monetary support is not always feasible for the folk. So please don't spend your last dollars on us. But if you can spare some change, you can donate to us on PayPal by going to paypal.me/innerhoe, or you can become a patron by going to patreon.com/innerhoeuprising, the links to which are in the show notes. Lots and lots of perks on Patreon, which I think I'm going to talk about a little bit later. So I'm going to skip that spiel for now and keep the episode moving forward, just because I want to get into one of my favorite motherfucking segments. Let's go.
Ooh.
He humped a male dog. The owner said, "This dog must be gay."
This dog must be gay. Because animals do be gay, though. This is a segment where we acknowledge and discuss the diverse sexual identities of animals. This week, we're doing a roundup of the LGBB community. Can you guess what that stands for?
Ligger, bigger, tigger.
No. But shout out to that guy. No, the LGBB community in this context is lesbian, gay, bisexual birds.
Ooh.
So fun fact, more than 130 bird species are known to engage in homosexual behavior, at least occasionally, you know? A
Every
little
now and
gay for
again.
play. A little gay
Yeah.
for play. So I'm going to do a roundup of, I think I have 5, and they're all fun and quick facts. Okay, so we got The Black Swan, and that's why that movie had gay undertones. Or was it overtones? I saw that a very long time ago.
I feel like overtones. They
Okay.
kissed at one point. It was really intense. I was into it. Like, yeah, so I think overtones.
Yep, and it was inspired by the real Black Swan. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know if that's true or not. Okay, so the Black Swan, also known as Cygnus atratus, is a large water bird which breeds mainly in the southeast and southwest regions of Australia. An estimated 1/4 of all black swan pairings are homosexual, and they steal nests or form temporary threesomes with females to obtain eggs, driving away the female after she lays the eggs. That's
a hustle, man. That's real.
It seems like the premise of a Tyler Perry movie.
Yeah.
You thought this nigga loved you? No, he's a homosexual. He's gonna steal your baby
afterwards. And then it's just like flashes of her like shocked, like, oh, I can't believe it. Yeah. They stole my baby. Yeah.
And then she just goes off the deep end, brings a machete. All right, Tyler Perry, get it in the works. Come on,
It's next. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Then we have the Chilean flamingos. Chilean flamingo. Those are 2 hard words next to each other. Chilean flamingos sometimes form committed same-sex relationships that can involve sex, traveling and living together, and raising young together. Isn't that
as
the
it
ideal?
should? I was just about to say, yeah. That makes sense.
That's the ideal life. Then we have, and I like the name of this bird, we have the male Guinean cock of the rock, which is already
got it.
That's the name of a gay male stripper.
And next we have male Guinean cock of the rock.
Exactly. Okay. So the male Guinean cock of the rock exists in Guyana, Eastern Colombia, Southern Venezuela, Suriname, French Guyana, and Northern Amazonia in Brazil. And according to this Wikipedia article, they quote unquote delight in homosexuality. I don't know why it was phrased like that.
I want that as a tattoo.
Delight in
or I delight in homosexuality. I want that. That's real.
Sounds pleasant.
I like that. Yeah.
Sounds quite pleasant.
I like the overall tone of all of this. Like, I don't know. It just feels like they're just like
these birds are living good
to
lives.
Talk about this. Yeah.
These birds are living good lives. Something that's funny on YouTube is like, because you have the blurred background zoom thing, whenever you drink the Arizona, it looks like you're blurring out the Arizona. Like this is fucking MTV Real World or something.
It's more funny because it's just like, at least Arizona will never be like, yo, why you got that on there? I don't condone this gayness and you have my Arizona in there. I don't know.
Arizona being the fucking Chick-fil-A of sugary beverages. That's funny. Anyway, the male Guinean cock of the rock has almost 40% of them engaging in a form of homosexual activity and a small percentage never copulating with females. Some of these birds are written from a very like male birds are the only birds exist perspective, and I don't know why.
They just say birds and then they say specifically female birds or just like
females. Like they're not mating with females.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe this is a gay bird segment and not a lesbian bird segment.
Maybe
lesbian erasure. We don't like that. But I think the last ones are lesbians. No, these ones are lesbians right here. Okay. So then we got the Laysan albatrosses. The Laysan albatrosses are known to be lifelong homosexuals. On a Hawaiian island where they are native, 31% of the pairings are made up of 2 unrelated females. After having sneak matings with the males, they are known to raise chicks together.
Yo, this is ill. Like the fact that it's just like, I'm gonna get these babies, son. Somehow or another, this is gonna be mine, but I don't want you involved.
I like this one because it's like sneaky links. The birds are
yo.
And then it's also just like a fuck you to the people who are like, if homosexuality continues, as if it hasn't always existed, if homosexuality continues, the species will die out. It's like, nah, we trying to get these babies off.
Yeah, that's never going to be the issue.
We trying to get this gay sex off.
Why are you still here after I've gotten this child from you? I need you to go. I am not interested. That's the problem.
Oh, man. And then finally, we have the gray lag geese. Male-male pairs are not uncommon amongst the gray-lag geese, and triads with 2 males and 1 female have been observed. And that's the life I'm trying to live.
Wait, animals do be poly though? Wait a
Animals
minute.
do be poly though. Yeah. Nearly a fifth of all long-term couples are composed of 2 males. Gray-lag geese can live for 20 years and share those with just 1 mate. Biologists have found a benefit to their monogamy when they are with mates, like lifelong mates, and that benefit is stress reduction. During fights, males with mates have lowered heart rates than their single brethren, and if their partners are nearby, they're even more relaxed.
Interesting that they have that like cataloged. Maybe they just do studies on their heart rates and just like see how they interact. But
You know, that's the thing about science. Like, if you write a good enough like proposal to get the money for
it's
it,
true.
you can just do whatever the fuck you want, or you get money for doing it from somebody who's trying to prove something. Like when tobacco was like, tobacco is good, isn't it? Can you make science like
Can
fit
you
this
figure
narrative?
this out somehow?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Make science fit this narrative. But yeah, so shout out to those people, because you know, just do to your heart's desire. If you want to find out why monogamy is good in this very specific species of bird,
Why not?
I don't mind that. I definitely don't mind that. So on that note, right, there are 3 things that I personally love. I feel like Rodeka loves them too. 1 is the fact that there are gay animals. 2 is the fact that we have a segment called Animals Do Be Gay Though. And 3, being the most recent, is the fact that we are now selling Animals Do Be Gay Though apparel. If you're on YouTube, you can see us with said apparel. Hold on, let me open up this t-shirt. Yeah, animals do be gay though. Oh my gosh, yeah. It's very cute. Designed by mostly Rob and later myself in the end stages. Animals do be gay though. We got that art for you to wear on your body and to let the world know that you also love gay animals. To cop, you can hit up innerhoeuprising.com and click the tab merchandise, or you can hit the merchandise link in our bio. We've got Animals Do Be Gay Though t-shirts, tanks, and crew necks like the one Rodeka is wearing if you're looking on YouTube. That's crew neck sweatshirts, by the way, in a variety of colors and sizes, ranging all the way from small to 5XL. While you're at it in our virtual store, clicking around for Animals Do Be Gay Though attire, you can also check out our other designs like our popular logo shirts and hoodies and masks. And we also have our Respect and Protect Marginalized Women t-shirts. So now let's talk a little balls and let's talk a little brains in our next segment that we call Fuck That. Rebecca's actually dancing. I'm trying to do like a strobe light thing.
No, I was in it. All right.
All right, a little balls, a little brains. What's
Little balls, little brains. I think that the person who wrote this article had a lot of fun, and I had a lot of fun with them. Sophie Putka is at the top. It was kind of hidden, but yes, Sophie, you had a lot of fun writing this, and I had a lot of fun reading it. The first line of the article is all nuts, because that's just, I don't know if there's a category where there's a lot of nuts or whatever, but
oh,
hey,
nuts.
Yeah, all nuts. And I was like, all right, you're bold. You want me to be interested, and I am. So riddle me this, y'all. Both of these organs guard their contents closely, appear wrinkly on the outside, and can determine the course of an individual life. What are they?
Balls and brains.
Balls and brains, all right? The brains and the testicles.
Nice.
This inverse article titled "The Brain and the Balls Overlap in 13,000 Ways." So there was a review paper published Wednesday in Open Biology, Wednesday of this week, not that Wednesday tomorrow or anything like that. It was just June 2nd. Any Wednesday. It's published every Wednesday of the year. And it makes a case for the comparison of the brains and the balls, laying out the biological similarities between the two. What they have in common, they argue, may help us understand conditions that affect both and better ways to treat them. So why do they have similarities? The review authors say the brains and the testes have more in common on a minute biological level than any other parts of the body.
Wow.
Writing, yeah.
Than any other two parts of the body?
Any other two parts.
That's kind of weird.
I know, right?
Like not the small and large intestine? Like you would think that those motherfuckers
those two are like are like cousins in comparison to the brain and the testes. They're twins,
That's very
basically, in a lot of
interesting.
ways.
That's very interesting.
Since cells have similar, oh, there you go, sorry. Right, the analysis revealed that surprisingly, human brain and testes have the highest number of common proteins compared to human body tissues as well. Scientists determined that an unusual similarity they discovered this unusual similarity by using a tool called the Human Protein Atlas to identify all the proteins created by the brain and all the proteins created by the testes. Using another computer program, they then compared them all to the proteins created by 28 other human tissues of the body. And the goals were to see where the proteins overlapped. There's also an overlap in a few disorders that may affect both the brain and the testes, like multiple sclerosis and male infertility. They can overlap. Certain dysfunctions of the brain have been linked to changed testicles. So pelvic surgery, diabetes, spinal abnormalities, and spinal cord injury can also lead to male infertility through erectile dysfunction or semen abnormalities. They also look similar. So they reasoned that they had
I wonder if that was like the genesis of doing this research. Like, you know what looks like the brain? The balls.
And that's what, we were just talking about, like pitching something. And I imagine that being the first line where it's like, come on, y'all, we should research this. They look alike. Let's do this. And everyone's just like, okay, I see your reasoning. So they just realized that because they look similar, they had to have a similar purpose. And if they had similar biological functions, maybe they could explain the link between conditions that harm the both. Controversially, in 2009, scientists found a correlation, which doesn't mean that one caused the other, just a correlation between overall intelligence and the measures of sperm, like count, concentration, and movement.
What is overall intelligence?
And that's the question.
I love science, but sometimes it gets on my fucking nerves. What is overall intelligence? How do you measure that?
How do you measure?
According to who?
Most likely talking about the IQ, which we've
already figured out.
Exactly.
Which has eugenicist roots.
But they made sure to put and it sucks because like it's interesting, but then when you break it down, and I love Sam for always having the questions that make you go, you're absolutely right. And it's like someone's gonna read that and say, well, my doctor told me I had some fast, concentrated sperm, so I must be the smartest person on the planet. And they'd have every right to kind of be right in that regard. But
like, because you saw it somewhere on the internet.
Yeah. Oh, look at those guns, bro. What was that?
I was stretching, but yeah, I've been doing this push-up challenge.
Yo. I was taking it back. Goddamn.
Sorry.
They also reasoned that what could make humans biologically fit, quote unquote, in one area could also go hand in hand in another. In another study from 2013, researchers actually found a relationship between testes size and parenting behavior. Bigger testes sizes were correlated with less nurturing related brain activities in fathers.
Not my dad has big balls, so he's a bad dad. What? Like, not my dad. I'm just saying.
I'm so curious as to how that works. Is it like this nigga's like looking down at their balls and they're just like, I got some big balls. I gotta take care of these motherfuckers.
Let me go to Walgreens for the next 13 years, nigga, because I got cigarettes to pick up.
They're just walking around the house like, thighs slightly apart because they have to make room for their balls. And just like, I don't even love y'all.
What y'all? You see the actual fuck? I need to hear more about that study at a later date.
And they don't even. They just say that
sample size, son.
It's like 20 dudes, and they're like, "Look, this is science, man. This is it." People came forward and like, I have big balls and I don't love my children.
Is it big like big or is it like long balled niggas?
Bigger testes sizes could be long and strong. That's it.
Shout out to the bad, long, strong, bald ass dads. Happy Father's Day.
Shout out to y'all, because y'all make a certain subsect of the market that is clearly worth studying. Testicles and brains have so much in common. Acknowledging and analyzing their shared biology could help move forward treatments for these issues. Or if there's a treatment that worked on one ailment, it could help guide a scientific inquiry in treating the other, which they say could lead to a better understanding of the mechanisms underlying diseases and better treatments. And then again, I will always highlight what I think is great. And this person said, and that's something to go nuts for. I love journalism, when you're just having fun. So whenever I see like little winks and nods and stuff, and you're just like having fun with your craft, that was great. So This person thought we would go nuts for this article, and we did.
Thank
So
you,
thank you
Sophie
for
Putzka.
we
will link
appreciate
the
you.
full piece in the show notes for this episode. And shout out to Inverse for always making the link between things like balls and brains. Okay. All right. Up next, who is my bae of the week? And a quick rant on why y'all need to stop lying on the motherfucking internet as soon as possible. But first, who is ready for some summer fun with the hoes? Me. Oh my God, me.
Oh my God, wait.
I'll tell you who, our Patreon community. This month is Pride Month, as y'all know, and in honor of that, we'll be hosting a weekend outdoor hang with the hoes who are in New York City for the shenanigans. It'll be Saturday, June 26th, and all four fully Not Peter Piper picked a motherfucking pepper in this bitch, son. All right, let's try that again. And all 4 fully vaxxed up members of IHU will be in attendance. The hang is aptly titled Interho Uprising's Patreon Pride Picnic. And to join us, you gotta be a patron. This event is open to patrons at any tier, and details about the time and location will be posted on Patreon. If you're looking for more summer fun with the hoes, you're in luck because we're having fun all motherfucking summer. On Wednesday, June 30th, we will be launching Interho Uprising's The Whoring 20s Summer 2021 Scavenger Hunt, named by Akua, who ideated this whole thing. So this is a challenge of who can compete the most quote-unquote hotivities by September. We got hotivities like preparing aphrodisiacs, getting a sneaky link souvenir, and twerking to one of our favorite hoe anthems. Each hotivity adds up to a certain number of points, and by the end of the summer, the hoe with the most points wins a gift box of the most sensual of goods. We are still in a pandemic, Lovato, and we ask that all folks participating do so with the utmost safety of themselves and others in mind. For the full list of summer scavenger hunt activities and rules, you got to be a patron. That's the whole point. So make sure you come join our Patreon community by going to patreon.com/interhouprising. In addition to the other goodies we offer, like our chat, movie nights, and virtual hangouts, you'll be able to join us for the fun and games of our Patreon Pride Picnic and Scavenger Hunt. Plus, we are taking a podcast break for the summer because niggas do need rest, though. And Patreon will be the place to keep up with the hoes. All right, let's get into our next segment, which is actually a combo segment, but I will only play one of the bumps.
Ass to ass. Ass to media. I wanna see you watching ass to media. I wanna see you reading ass to media. I wanna see you hearing ass to media. Ass to ass.
Timing was a little off. I was trying to dab on time to it. Ass to ass. Get cheerleader. Ass to ass. Anyway.
You're so into it. I love it.
It's just bullshit. I just enjoy bullshit, especially if I make it. Okay, so this is a combo of 2 segments. This is Bae of the Week / Ass Media. Bae of the Week is a segment where we give a shout out to people who we find cool and attractive, and it is combined with Ass Media, the segment where we give film, TV, podcasts, and now social media and written media reviews. So this combo segment was inspired by me seeing motherfuckers lie on the internet, and I got really sick of it. But I'm also always sick of that. Like, if you've never heard this show before, I really hate misinformation. I really hate misinformation.
There's a war against misinformation on the show.
Yes.
It's not allowed here.
I will take it down one fucking episode at a time. All right. So yeah, this was inspired by me seeing folks make up stories on the internet and then me coming across a really dope story that I figured I'd share with you all. So not to get too much into the detail of this, because I'm certain you've heard, I feel like you've heard, I'm talking directly to you now, Rodeka, but there was a whole big brouhaha about Naomi Osaka not wanting to do press during Roland Garros, aka the French Open, getting fined. The French Open, the US Open.
You're finding ways. You're finding ways. Stay tuned, y'all, because it's next.
Like, that's the next event. Who can play tennis? Come compete in the US Open. Oh, my brain runs a mile a minute. Okay, anyway, yes. Roland Garros, she got fined. Roland Garros, whoever runs their social media was like petty about it on social media. Naomi Osaka left the tournament. And many people have takes on what happened. This segment is not a take on that, but many good people have good takes on that. Queen and Jay talked about it. Black Guy Who Tips talked about it a lot. Listen to that. I'll link it in the show notes. Something that did make me extremely uncomfortable that I want to talk about during and after the situation was people who just started making stuff on the internet, which is a large pet peeve of mine. So just to give one example, I saw a few people saying things like, I just hate people. Naomi Osaka should boycott Roland Garros until France pays Haiti back reparations because Naomi Osaka is Japanese and Haitian.
Okay.
Like, so do people who work for the federal government, like,
nope,
do they have to now boycott their jobs until we get reparations as African Americans?
People choose one thing and they're like, I'm going to make this about everything and not actually try and figure out how to actually do it in another way. It's just like, oh, let's just latch on every crisis to everything. Yep.
Yeah. And I also saw something along the lines of Naomi leaving the French. There's just such a fucking reach. Naomi leaving the French Open on the last day of Haitian American History Month is just chef's kiss. Like, I feel like you Googled when Haitian, like, I'm sorry. I love Haiti. You know I love Haiti. Rebecca
I do
is
too.
Haitian. Did you know that last month was fucking Haitian History Month?
I did
like,
not.
Nobody fucking knew that. You're just making stuff up.
No,
you went on that list of things of like national months. You saw that there was an overlap and you decided to tweet that for points on the internet. And now you're getting taken down.
I didn't even think they would do that, to be honest with you. It's just like, man, I don't want to do this.
Oh,
do it for the Haitians. And that's what it was.
And yeah, so both of those things it bothered me because it's like, you're just ignoring what Naomi Osaka said about her depression and self-doubt and how that's manifesting. And you're just making a cute narrative for yourself. Like, you're not making it for her. You're not doing it because you care about her. You're not doing it because you care about the sport or anything like that. You're just doing it for points on the fucking internet. Then kind of like feeding more into like who my babe of the week is in the article that I want to talk about and stuff. I saw a tweet that has bothered me every day since I saw it. Like, at some point I will think about this tweet and I will get angry all over again. So the tweet said, I love that the only people who can beat Serena now are the Black girls who started playing because of her. And this tweet went viral, tens of thousands of likes, thousands of retweets, many quote tweets saying this, extremely this. I resonate with this. The tweet is just not true. Like, it's extremely not true. Like, the only Black player who has beat Serena Williams has been Naomi Osaka. And there's just several other non-Black players who have. And that's fine because that's the world we live in. And it is very okay to live in reality, I think. Like, it's very okay to live in reality.
That's thousands of people who didn't even try and look it up and say, hey, you sure? Are you sure? Okay.
It's like thousands of people who like also saw like comments, and some of the comments are just like white people being racist or whatever.
Yeah.
But some of the comments are people who like genuinely like, I love Serena Williams. She is my favorite player. I love tennis. I love the Black players who play tennis, but this is just not true. Like, why are you just making this up?
Yeah.
The person who wrote the tweet saw that. I'm sorry, you saw that. And
like the person, I don't want to see that. So I've decided to rebuke it.
And I don't know if they'd consider themselves a journalist, but the person who wrote this tweet like writes for publications and wrote an article about Naomi Osaka. Like, how is that okay? How is that? How are you like writing for journalistic outlets, but you're also just lying? I don't get that. Yeah. I can't fucking comprehend that. I cannot fucking comprehend that. Like, I saw somebody who was like, yeah, I really appreciate Serena Williams, but this is not true. And somebody like responding like, yeah, but just let us have our fun.
But it's not fun when it's misinformation. It's not factual.
Like, you can have fun and you can care about Black girls who actually play tennis without referring to these people who don't exist.
Yeah.
Like,
or erasing the people who do exist.
Exactly. So what is not fine is lying because it fucking feels good, which happens a lot on the internet. And I think it's extremely dangerous. And we are hurtling towards worse times than we are in now.
Yeah.
Which is disturbing because times do be bad though. And I feel like by doing something like this, you're diminishing the stories of Black women who do play tennis. You're diminishing both their struggles and their wins, because instead of talking about them who actually do exist, you're just making up fake people who are beating Serena Williams.
Yeah.
Like, you're saying that their stories and their accolades don't matter unless they're beating Serena, which is an incredibly hard thing to do because she's literally the greatest of all time. Like, you're saying otherwise, like, if you're not beating Serena, you're not worth mentioning.
Yeah.
You're not worth a viral tweet. That's fucking whack. I'm tired of it. So I wanted to take a moment to talk about a story that does actually exist and is more worthy of knowing, because it exists and it's a good story. So this leads into my bae of the week, who is Taylor Townsend. Taylor Townsend is a 25-year-old Black woman pro tennis player from Chicago. In 2012, she finished the year #1 in the girls' junior ranking, making her the first American to do so since 1982.
Wow.
Like,
already, wow.
That's literally fucking historical. Like, that is not something that Serena or Venus Williams did. But yeah, so she's fucking historical. She's also a new mother. And she had a rough time transitioning from her junior to career to playing pro, largely because of fat phobia and anti-Blackness, which she recounts in a recently published personal essay in a website called The Players Tribune, titled "You Ain't Never Been No Little Girl, Taylor Townsend." And that title comes full circle if you read the piece. And I'll link the piece in the show notes. It's written very conversationally, and it's vulnerable, it's authentic, it's fiery, and it's just a good, honest piece. And it's like very brave because she's like coming for the institution, like this old white ass institution that is tennis, and she's just being like fucking real about it. She's like putting respectability politics to the side, like she curses a lot and stuff like that. And it's just it's a very relatable thing to read. Just to get a little bit into it, like, it starts with the story of her being like this great junior tennis player, and being under the USTA, and like recognizing issues with her endurance and finding that weird because it was like a stark shift between how her endurance was and like how it became.
Mhm.
And the USTA and I think her coaches and stuff like that were like, well, girl, you just need to lose some weight up in here, as people do. And she was like, damn, okay.
Mhm.
And she goes to the doctors and she gets blood work, and it turns out she's actually anemic, which is why her endurance.
Lucky for her that they even tested, and like we're like, well, that's an easy thing to test, but like a lot of the times they're just like, I've had people say straight up, I'm not giving you blood work, it's because you need to wait.
Oh yeah, fat phobia.
You know, we can talk about this at length, but yeah,
For
that's very relatable for sure.
Yeah. And she's like, okay, well, I found out that I'm anemic, and the doctor's like, okay, here's like a regimen that you can go on or whatever, like in terms of your diet and like supplements and stuff like that. But I think after that, USTA is still like, nah, but you need to lose some weight up in here. And like hijinks, and by hijinks I mean like racism and fat phobia ensue. And she talks about like when she was younger and just like being a bigger girl, and people be like, when playing like at clubs and stuff like that, people are being like, you're gonna play against my child, like that big girl's gonna play against my child, and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, it's just like very honest, and she kind of like filters that into like how it became like because you know, you hear those kind of stories like I was the lead singer for the Black Eyed Peas and now nobody knows who I am. Like, I was the #1 junior tennis player. Huh?
Said damn Fergie?
No, not Fergie.
I thought you said the Black Eyed Peas.
I did say the Black Eyed Peas. They used to have a Black lead singer.
Oh shit. Look at me.
They used to have a Black lead singer, and like the only reason I know this is because she told her story on like a New York Times documentary or whatever.
Oh wow.
And she's like, I used to sing for the Black Eyed Peas and now nobody knows who I am. So it's like one of those kind of stories. Not saying that nobody knows who Taylor Townsend is. I knew who she was before reading this article.
Yeah.
And people who like really watch tennis will probably know who she is. But yeah, I say all that to say like it's a story of like, how did I go from this high and like the trajectory of my career looking this good to now like falling to 300 in terms of the ranking and stuff like that. When I was expected to like do great things or whatever. And it just really brings me back to this nonsensical tweet that this person wrote, because it's like, no, there are not right now other Black players beating Serena Williams. And like sometimes that's because they have fucking challenges. And like instead of making stuff up and living this narrative just because like we see Serena Williams' career kind of ending and stuff like that. Not saying it's over or like that she's never going to win another Grand Slam or anything like that, but like she is getting older and she's not going to play forever.
Yeah.
We don't have to like make up the interim and be like, oh yeah, so all these Black players are going to come and dominate or whatever and blah, 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 because we're ignoring the reality that tennis is still like largely exclusive.
Yeah.
Especially for people who like look like Taylor Townsend.
Who's a baddie? I was like,
you see her. Yeah. She like, the bae of the weeks are never ugly.
Of
like,
course. Of course.
There's other things about them, but they really do be bae though. They do be bae though. Yeah. So yeah, let's end with an excerpt and then any other feedback that you might have from this piece that Taylor Townsend wrote, which I once again will be linking in the show notes. So she writes, I've realized that for as much as Venus and Serena have been these amazing legends for me to look up to and these standard bearers for me to measure myself against, and this essential part of my journey as a Black woman trying to make it in the tennis world, they're not actually my story. They're an inspiration. They're the pinnacle. They're two absolute icons on and off the court. And you can't tell the story of Black women in tennis without them. But the full story of Black women in tennis is a whole mess of stories. There's the Williams sisters, of course, overcoming everything they overcame to become a pair of damn goats. But on the other side of the coin, there's also hundreds, and then in parentheses, she puts thousands of stories you'll probably never hear about of Black girls who just didn't get a shot. Whether that's because of money or racism or lack of support or gatekeeping bullshit, or because the system just kind of failed them the way that it fails so many Black women all the fucking time. And whether their dream ended in the pros or in college or in high school or grade school, or many stories out there of Black women that never got their chance. And then somewhere in there, somewhere else within that mess of stories, you've got mine. You've got Taylor Townsend, now 25 years old, from the South Side of Chicago. You may have read a thing or two about her. She made some noise a while back in juniors, won a few big tournaments, got a dope ranking, and then there was an issue with the USTA or some shit. I think she struggled turning pro. Found her game though, I heard. Been hitting the hell out of the ball, winning again, has a handsome ass kid too. Honestly, it seems like she's doing all right. Wasn't easy, no doubt, but she's living, she's breathing, she's building a future. You know what I mean? And I love stories like that. Good for her.
Oh,
yes. It was mad sweet.
Yeah.
You don't gotta spread misinformation when real people exist, nigga.
Imagine if that tweet was just like uplifting stories that are not being heard, and then it was being shared, and everyone's like, yes. But that's why we have this podcast, nigga.
That is why we have this podcast. So yeah, definitely read that article. I definitely recommend it. And yeah. All right. So let's get into our next segment, which is called Fuck Me. And this is what we play to get into it.
I got situations, my love, but you can still come through. Everything's on deck. Liquor, weed, and the crew. We could do what we do. That's a party on the weekend. That's a party on the weekend. She love the party on the weekend. She love the party on the weekend.
She do be loving to party on the weekend. So this is Fuck Me. It's a segment about our sexual, romantic, and dating lives. And we got a breakup.
We got a breakup over here, y'all. It's me. And no, it's not my my OG partner that's been here for a while. It's the new one that I just announced. Damn, I'm sitting here like 2 episodes later, looking a little sad, you know, like, yeah, guys, folks, I am half single. No, that's not how it works. Yeah.
You got a polyamorous breakup.
We got a polyamorous breakup. Yeah, the reasons behind it were something that I'm actually proud of in terms of like my growth as a person. So essentially, I feel like we had a good time. We were doing great, you know, like building our relationship.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Like, so you did officially announce that you have a partner
Yes.
2 weeks ago on the show, or 1 week ago on the show.
Yeah.
But how long were you actually partnered?
So we were dating, like, and where we were like referring to each other as someone who's a partner for 6 days.
Oh.
But we had first essentially gotten involved and like we're building towards something for about 2 months. So
Okay.
yeah, we made it official, and then it was like, nah. But we basically had our first date after we made it official, and I was just not treated very well in terms, and it was like very much a projection type of situation where they're going through a lot of stuff as a person, like more things than I've ever had on my plate spinning at once. And it's very much like this was their only free time for the week. And they made it abundantly clear that they're spending their free time with me, and almost as if I should be grateful for it.
I hate when people do that.
Yeah. And then we were sitting at the table for brunch, and I had planned the whole thing, and I was just really like trying to make them happy and like, you know, cheer them up. And it felt like everything was just like not good enough. And then there was one ironic part where they were just like, this music is so loud, I can't even hear the birds. And like, for me, it's just like, no one ever cares about listening to birds, but sure, maybe that was really important to you.
Maybe they were gay birds.
Maybe they were gay birds and you want to hear what they got going on. I understand.
I'm coming out, chirp, chirp. I want the world.
Which like, I get it. But the thing was, it was more upsetting because like I had planned to go to the pier literally around the corner. You can't see it from there. And then I just remember like walking over to the pier and I was like, you can hear the birds now, can't you? And I was just like, I felt so bad. And like, I ended up like crying at brunch, and like, because it was just, they were laying it into me. And then afterwards it was like, I'm stressed out. I'm very sorry. Like very judgmental about like, we all know I drink and I do drugs, y'all. But like, just very much like you're ruining your life. I'm like, I was in a position when I first met you where I was pretty good, and you knew that, and we were working for the same company, and I was in a higher position, and I was just like, I'm pretty good in life. Like I'm trying my best, but you know, I'm doing what I got to do. And it was just like, why did I have to defend myself? Why did I have to feel like I was being attacked? A lot of that stuff, but it ultimately came down to, I didn't like the way that I was treated. And if this is like a foreshadowing of what's coming, and you know, you're having this conversation where you're like, well, I just need, like, when I promise I won't do it again, but if I do, I need you to kind of like slap me back into place, like kind of like if not physically, but just like
that's
let them
what
know.
they asked.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't want to do that. And it was like very much the first time that I was like, I'm not growing a person. I'm not growing you right now. I'm not doing. And I know it was so. It was a very liberating moment where I was just like, you do have a lot of things going on, and I understand that, and don't think that in sharing those things, these are the reasons why this is happening. But you have those things and they're manifesting where you are now projecting and you are hurting people around you. And rather than continue on this path where like, I have to continue to check you, but who knows how many different type of backhanded or microaggressions or all these things that you might come towards me that I have to endure to get to this promised land of sort. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I still want to be your friend. Like I still like, you know, want to support you, but at the same time as a partner, that's not the thing that I need in my life right now. And then I fucked it all up by fucking them again. And like 2 days ago, and then I had to break up with them because I had regrets, and I was like, why did I do that? I was mad at myself.
People, what is it? I don't know. They go backwards.
Yeah, and I was like, no, I still don't want to do this. So we broke up twice. But it's interesting because what makes a breakup different in polyamorous relationships as opposed to like a monogamous one is kind of like, you break up, you might have your rebound, like there might be other people involved, but at the same time, you're largely going through this alone, as opposed to like, I broke up, I came home, and my nesting partner is there. So Chris is just like, hey, how'd it go? And it's just like, we broke up. And it's just like having that conversation with him, and then like experiencing this sadness, but also, you know, not wanting to take away the time that I have with Chris. And it's just like, hey, I need this moment. I need to like think about it. And he was very supportive in terms of just like how I was feeling, which is awesome. And it was just a lot. Like it's a lot to go through. Like I'm still happy in my one of my relationships, but another one is over. And then we ended up the three of us ended up all watching a movie together. And that was the first time they'd all hung out after we broke up. And it was a really nice thing. So it was just like, you know, maybe I can have this friendship with this person and we can figure this out. then I went on a date with another person. So it's been like very interesting in terms of like allowing myself time to breathe, but also just like not letting it stop me from continuing to experience and to meet new people that I'm genuinely interested in. But yeah, I felt like it was a very advocate for Rebecca moment where it's just like, in the past, I've definitely been like, okay, well, that's what love is, or that's what a relationship is. I just have to grow you. And like, shout out to people who have it in them for that. But like, no, not anymore. Like if you're telling me that your definition of self-work is me doing the labor of checking you, and then you'll realize that you're doing something, as opposed to saying, hey, this is something that's happening in my life, owning it and just saying like, look, if I do it again, I'm gonna check myself. It was just like very much me dependent and dependent on me just like doing the work, and I just didn't want to do the work. So yeah, there's that. And overall, I'm not mad about it. I'm very proud of myself for it. I do have moments where I'm just like, oh, very disappointing, because this person was like, me and Chris were talking about being polyamorous, but we weren't like in practice because of the pandemic Lovato. And then also like, we were just very into building ourselves. So this was like the first foray into like really being like, no, I'm advocating for this. I'm doing this. And then it just kind of like 6 days later was like, no, but
I
we
feel like
grew.
Yeah. Oh, you and Chris grew?
Yeah.
Go.
Like, and now he has a potential other partner. And like, I feel like because of the fact that we figured out the growing pains of what it looks like to be polyamorous and live together, because that's a lot. Because you're out on your date and then you just kind of have to like do things and figure out like, okay, my life is usually about myself, but then this other person and they're not here. So you start evaluating like, do I have hobbies? So that's been interesting. And now it's kind of been easier in terms of like this new relationship for us to handle it, because we created this path and this precedent that now we can follow. Yeah.
That's really dope. And I think just to address what you said, like this is the first foray and for it to end 6 days in. I think that's like, obviously you don't want something that you're enjoying to end.
Yeah.
But I think that is indicative of how healthy of a base or platform that you have. Because like you immediately identified what could go wrong, what's going wrong, what you want, what you don't want. And you were like, okay, let's like nip this in the bud.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a unhealthy breakup or anything like that. It wasn't like fuck you anyways, or like violent or abusive or anything like that. So,
which I was worried would happen if we continued. So it was just like, I'm seeing this.
There you go.
Let's not. Yeah. Oh, I feel good.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job. Sometimes things end 6 days later.
Sometimes they do. Sometimes they end. I broke it up with somebody the same day. This was like in high school though, but the same day we started. So I don't know.
It'd be like that sometimes. Okay, cool. Did we do a show?
I think we did, yo.
Let's take a page from Queen and Jay's book. All right. Well, if this episode made you laugh, helped you learn something, made you feel good, made you question yourself in a good way, or positively moved you in any sense, please leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher, and let everyone you know that we... It's still Monday. And let everyone you know that you love these hoes. We appreciate all of you.
And if you would like to follow us on social media, you can do so at Interho Uprising without the G on Twitter, Interho Uprising on Instagram and Facebook. You could join our Facebook group by searching Interho Uprising, CUMMUNITY. And you can head over to interhouprising.com to pay ho and to buy some merchandise.
Yes.
Some merch. You know, you see this shirt?
Animals.
Buy it. You can have it too.
Gay though. You can have it too.
And
no, it's your part. Sorry.
And if you would like to follow me, Rodeka, on Instagram, you can follow me at The Darkest Timeline for my regular peeps, and for my Finsta X-rated get crazy. It's not X-rated, y'all. Don't get excited. You could follow me at Fat Black Snack.
There you go. You can follow me at SlamRid on Instagram and Twitter. And if you want to hang with the hoes this summer, whether it be at our Patreon Pride picnic or during our scavenger hunt shenanigans, you can go to patreon.com/InnerHoeUprising or click the link in our show notes to, become a part of that community, because it's a really good time. All right. Have a lovely...
Have a mother.
I can't talk, son. Have a lovely motherfucking week because you motherfucking deserve to.
Bye.